Welcome to this webinar of with the topic Google AgentSpace. Thank you all for joining us today. We have a full agenda of demos and everything we would like to show you. Of course, we started with a very interesting promotional video from Google. I hope you liked it. We think it's a very opening our eyes in certain ways to how we might be using agents. Joining us today, myself, Stefan Laan, account manager here at Xebia. Working for the workspace team, and
Timothy van der Werf. I work as a cloud consultant here at Xebia. My expertise is really on GCP and also on AI, so those two combined.
And sadly not physically here today, Marjam Bahari. She will be joining us through Meet. She's in the call right now, so when her she's from Google, cloud engineer, working with us mainly on Gen AI topics, so she will show more from Google. Thank you for joining us, and we're very interested in seeing what you have, I believe, already presented at the keynote 2 weeks ago.
Indeed, yes. So let me quickly introduce myself. So Marjam, and I work as a customer engineer at Google Cloud in Amsterdam. I have a specialization in AI, machine learning, and nowadays I talk a lot about generative AI, with most of our customers, and I'm one of the AgentSpace champions within our community. So indeed, during the keynote last 2 weeks ago, I did a demonstration of AgentSpace. And for those of you who weren't there, I'm doing it again today during this webinar at Xebia. So before sharing my screen, I think let's kick off with a quick introduction on what is AgentSpace before I start showing it to all of you, as I'm not sure if everyone here has that background. So what we did, we are combining the best of Google search and the best of Google AI into one solution for our customers called AgentSpace, which consists of 3 components. First, it is an out-of-the-box search environment. So you can connect your own data sources to AgentSpace and then search through them with natural language. And we focus on being an open platform. So it's not only about Google products or Google platforms, but also those of other vendors, as we try to help you to make sense of all of your data, not only the data in Google. And then second, it also plays the function of an agent orchestration, agent building, an agent harness. So if you have all your data in this platform or connected to this platform, it's not going to save it, it's connected to this platform. It becomes very easy and logical to start building agents on top of that, to not only ask basic questions, but also to build more advanced agentic workflows, more advanced bots that do very specific tasks and activities. So I'll show you how you can do that and what kind of agents you can use now. And then third, we are bringing Google innovation through AgentSpace to our customers, our biggest Gen AI innovation. So for example, we are building out-of-the-box agents like deep research. We launched idea generation. We are going to launch soon a data science agent that will be able to converse with your data in, for example, BigQuery or another data warehouse. So we are bringing a lot of added value to our customers through this platform of AgentSpace. So let me start sharing my screen and show you what this is. Here we have my environment, my AgentSpace environment. So for the sake of simplicity, let's imagine for the next couple of minutes that I work as a relationship manager at a bank. And this is my personalized and authenticated environment where I'm using AgentSpace. Here we have the search bar where I can ask questions, and we have a couple of things you can see at the sidebar, like a prompt gallery where you can find inspiring prompts that were built out of the box, agent gallery, the recent information, and all the agents that are part of it. So within the agent gallery, you can see a couple of things. You can see out of the box Google agents like deep research, ID generation, and we are already in this environment introducing the Looker agent, as you will be able to create an agent in the Looker environment and connect it to AgentSpace. Then you have the agents that are created by your organization. So here, how it works is that you can create your own agent and then surface them through AgentSpace and make them available for your employees throughout the company. And you can decide who gets access to it. So you have access control rights for these agents. They also include agents that are not built by you, but are third-party agents, like, for example, a Workday, Salesforce agents. We are building out many partnerships to make sure that our platform becomes as open as possible, as I've mentioned. And then perhaps the best part, you can create your own agents here based on a click of this button. I'm going to show you how easy it is to create an agent through a conversational workflow to automate your daily tasks. So let me start a new conversation with AgentSpace. So I'm copy pasting the text as nobody wants to see me type. For me, as a relationship manager at a bank, it's very important to keep on top of my customer's business. So every morning, I'm running an analysis of my client portfolio to identify risks and opportunities. So here you see AgentSpace thinking, and this is based on data and information that I have that I am allowed to access. So what AgentSpace does, when you start using it, you configure it with your identity provider. So it makes sure that you can only access the data that you have permission to access, right? So here you see that if I want to, for example, get more information, I can ask follow-up questions. I can toggle on web search on or off, and this means that Google search will be included in the results, or you can toggle it off and then look through your data sources. Here you see the connected data sources like Confluence, Calendar, Jira, Outlook. So you can turn on and off the ones you want to work with. You see here that it's also able to create the summaries in different types of formats, like text, but also tables. So it's important here to say that AgentSpace not only summarizes, but it also interprets your question and makes sure to surface what matters most. Like in this example, I've learned that my customer, Acme, potentially has cash flow issues. So this is an interesting insight that I'm going to action upon later. For now, this already saved me a ton of manual work in terms of looking things up and driving information. For now, I want to focus on creating an agent that keeps an eye on this customer, Acme. AgentSpace already identified that as a potential next step. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm using Agent Creator to create a detailed agent plan. So what happens is that based on the conversational flow, an agent is being created that does the activities as stated here. So this looks pretty good, but I want to add an audio summary so that I can listen to a summarized version of the reports when I commute to work. So here I'm asking it to create this audio summary and send everything to my inbox. So you see here that the audio summary is added, summarized, and sent to inbox. So in this way, you can very easily create agentic flows to automate your tasks that normally take you a couple of steps. They can all be done in one turn with an agent. So continuing here, I want to further deep dive on the information I found that Acme potentially has cash flow issues, because I'm thinking that it might be related to the industry in general instead of only to the customer itself. So AgentSpace identified that as a potential next step by analyzing the contracting industry trends. So let's do that. When I click this, AgentSpace understands that the best way to do research is to call Deep Research Agent. This is one of the Google built agents that can do extensive analysis on any topic you put in there. So it starts with creating an agent plan, and it's quite deep dive. You can change this plan if you want to, but I'm fine with it, and I'm going to start the research here. So what happens now is that this agent is pulling information in real time from the web and from my own resources. And by the way, this is cached. So usually it takes a couple of minutes for it to generate the report. But for the sake of time, we can now already see that it created an extensive report, including citations and resources of where the information is coming from. And thankfully also an executive summary. So here I can see that my customer Acme is probably influenced by labor shortages, rising material costs, and all kinds of complexities that indeed can cause these cash flow issues. So this is great in terms of helping me understand that my customer is facing a significant issue, and actively helps me to mitigate this for my customer. So what I want to do now is call an agent that is built by my company, my fictional company for this demo purposes, and which is called Cash Flow Agent. And I want to do some research and predict the cash flow for the next 3 quarters. So this agent is built on top of Google's time series forecasting model, which is a new model that is specifically trained for these type of use cases. So here I get, again, lots of information. I can see the prediction for the cash flow, and I can directly communicate this to my customer Acme if I want to talk with them about this, set up a meeting, and work from there. So the easiest way for me doing that is directly asking AgentSpace to drop an email to someone within my customer and then request a meeting for next week. So you see here that immediately this email is created, a draft email that I can change if I'd like to. That detailed breakdown, I can send the email from here, and then I am all set, ready to go. So let's recap for a minute. As I don't really work as a relationship manager at a bank, the value that AgentSpace provides is very real. It's so easy to search within all your data here, and also to use agents and tools all from one environment. So AgentSpace is powered by Gemini 2.5, and it is actually the only hyperscaler platform that enables you to connect with third-party data sources, third-party tools, and also to use third-party models out of the box. So you're not only limited to using Gemini models within the AgentSpace environment. So that's all what I wanted to show you for now. Feel free to get in touch, and I'll pass it back to Xebia to further continue the session.
Thank you very much, Marjam, for joining us and presenting this very interesting tool, basically. And looking further, because we saw this presentation, we saw this tool, and we thought, well, this is something we as Xebia have to understand and have to be able to present to our customers and make better than the basic version. Timothy, you've been mainly leading our team within this search of how to use AgentSpace at our customers. We've been through a few POCs already, few are starting up. Could you share some light on where we're at the moment with AgentSpace?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess that we go on the next slides, right? So the main thing we saw, right, for AgentSpace, we're searching through all the data sources that you have as an enterprise in a secure way. So the main way you can think of it, Google has done some research, and they've seen that like 89% of employees are searching up to 6 different sources of information in an enterprise setting, right? So you see an example here of lots of different data sources that people can search through. Is your PowerPoint in your SharePoint? Maybe it's in your Drive. I myself am also always looking through these different sources for specific things. But what it also creates is kind of team silos, right? So you kind of create silos. People are maybe prefer be working on one platform versus the other. You have a little bit of privacy data leakage risks because people are exporting it, downloading it, and then uploading it somewhere else again. And you're wasting time searching, right? So that's a big problem that Google's trying to address here with this product. So in comes AgentSpace. And what it is, it boils down to, it's unlocking enterprise expertise for employees with agents that bring together like 3 things. One of them is Gemini, and Gemini's advanced reasoning, as it current with the newest models as well. Multimodal understanding, right? So it can understand pictures, audio, text, so on. And it combines that with Google quality search. So all your data sources, you can, we all know Google is good at searching stuff. So also using that on your own data, of course, is very valuable. And then combining that with your enterprise data, of course. And then the idea here is that it can automate your business functions in your enterprise using all these things together. So important to mention there, and it was also mentioned by Marjam, is it is secured by your identity provider. So if you have your SharePoint and you have your Entra ID set up, people shared some PowerPoints with you, you can only access basically what PowerPoints have been shared with you or that you have created.
And this is behind the standard SLAs that Google normally presents for workspace.
Yeah, so it will index all your data from all these sources, and then it knows also like, okay, these people have access to these sources. So once all these sources have been indexed, it's not like every employee can search across everything. Yeah, they still have the access control based on whatever source data has been shared with them. Okay, indeed. So that's important to note. Another big thing within this indexing of data is knowledge graphs. And this is very important for a better context-aware search in BASIC. So what it tries to do in the back end is it tries to understand relations between people and organizations and identities, basically entities within documents and data. So it connects with your on-prem identity as well. Say we have Entra ID, for example. Some have Google identity. And in the documents that are written, it will try to detect who has written that, maybe from the metadata, but also mentions within the documents. Someone is mentioned here and here. Okay, and then, of course, these people have some relational with the context of an organization. So example here is person is part of an organization. Person has a manager. Now, these kinds of things, it builds a knowledge graph based on your private data. And then there's also a public knowledge graph you can enable. So if you have any type of search based on your public mentions, say a company or a CEO of a well-known company, it also uses Google's, that's daily updated, Google's public knowledge graph. And they do the indexing for that behind the scenes and make that available for everyone using AgentSpace. So those are 2 different knowledge graphs you can use. And then what brings it together is, Marjam also mentioned this, is 3 different tiers.
I see that, maybe to interrupt you, I'm sorry, Timothy, I see that Marjam has raised her hand. Is it still relevant? Please jump in if needed. Marjam, please feel free.
Yes, please. Thanks so much for pointing that out. I thought maybe you weren't seeing the hand, but there is indeed one thing I wanted to mention, as I'm getting a lot of questions also on how AgentSpace is different from a Vertex AI search. As within the Google Cloud Platform, you have developer tools to build applications similar to AgentSpace with, for example, Vertex AI search. So just to explain that to everyone here, if you start building with Vertex AI search, this is basically a developer tool where you would need to do all the activities that are already out of the box within AgentSpace. So you can make use of Vertex AI search which includes, for example, the knowledge graph that Timothy just presented. It includes creating the embeddings, so the technology underlying what enables you to find information. However, you would need to do everything in terms of creating an application that needs to be managed, needs to be monitored. You need to do quality testing, evaluation of the performance. You need to select your models, train them, tune them if necessary. So basically, the main difference within AgentSpace and also using developer tooling within Vertex AI is that everything is out of the box. You can get started very quickly by only installing, configuring the connectors with your own personal or company data. And from there, you can immediately have the front end and get started with using all the LLMs and the different agents in a safe and secure way. Where if you use Vertex AI search, you need to configure all of this. So it's a major development effort, and that also needs to be maintained, be monitored on the long term. So you need to have a team ready for you doing that. While with AgentSpace, what you need to do, you need to configure the connectors. That's a one-time thing. And then you have an administrator, which makes sure that the right people get the right access to either AgentSpace or the agents within the platform. So it's a lot less work. And if you have any follow-up questions on this, feel free to reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn, or you'll have my contact details later. So I just wanted to mention that, as this is a very question I get very often.
Yeah, no, very clear. And I think looking at how we see this at Xebia is that AgentSpace also has both worlds. So we can use this high-end development Vertex AI search to make custom agents which are not just the standard connectors, but also combine that with the power of having easy access to these connectors within AgentSpace. So I think connecting both of these worlds is, in our opinion, the big plus that we're creating at the moment.
Yes,
thank you very much for adding, Marjam.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so then going on to the next part of it, the agents themselves, right? It's called AgentSpace. So yeah, as standard, you get some out-of-the-box agents. One of them mentioned was the deep research one. One of them is in private preview, I believe. Ideation agent enables you to create some IDs, and there's a couple more coming up there. Then a second part of that is you can also enable your organizational agents. So one way to do that is using low no-code agents. So Agent Designer enables every user that's using AgentSpace to create their own agents, just some text typing, maybe reminiscent of the Gemini gems, or within Copilot you also have a similar feature. And then another way of it doing it is more for the engineering part. That's a low-code version, is Agent Builder, and there you have more flexibility. You can, for example, also add an API spec to it, so you can enable it to access your customized IT infrastructure or anything else similar to that. And you can also add those to AgentSpace as well.
And how would you know which type of agent you should use?
So yeah, in the basics, right, you get out of the box, and you have your search enabled through your enterprise data. So your use cases would probably be similar to like searching, summarizing, sending out some specific actions that are enabled out of the box.
Yeah.
Well, there's a list of things you can out of the box enable or connect. Currently, the list is about 20 things, I think, you can connect. Google is expanding that list, but it's not available yet, of course. So yeah, that's a promise. But if you need to be more flexible, you need to, for example, enable access to a custom API that you have running on your Cloud Run or AWS, wherever it is. Then you probably want to use one of these custom agents. Yeah. So to enable that kind of access as well. And also if you want to have more control of the actual flow of this agent. So if you want to do it
but there's also more control needed. You can you need a team to support these custom agents.
Indeed. So as Marjam also mentioned, right, you need to have a more robust IT personnel as well. They need to develop that, they need to monitor that and evaluate it as well. Okay. So that does require more effort, for sure. And then the third one is Vertex AI agent. So another big thing that was announced was Agent Engine, where you can deploy your fully custom code agents using, for example, Agent Development Kit. And there you have like all the flexibility that you need to make these agents.
Yeah.
So another big thing within AgentSpace is that you get Notebook LM Enterprise, and maybe you're already familiar with Notebook LM or
Sure,
Notebook LM
yes.
Plus
Daily.
via Workspace. Yeah, so the Enterprise is basically the next tier version, really meant for a higher security value within the Enterprise, right? So this lives inside your cloud project. And Notebook LM itself is kind of a way to upload your data or to enable your data in a notebook. You can have loads of different sources. I put here 100 sources. I think it's even more.
Okay.
And up to 500,000 words per source, or 300 MBs, I think. So all at the same time, then you can chat with those sources enabled. And then you can also create things. So for example, audio overviews, podcasts, or join a podcast actually about these sources as well. I will demo that later as well. So this is a nice way, a new way to interact with your data. It's really something that you have to see or use to actually see the value in it as well. But it's really nice. So in contrast to the Notebook LM Plus, you get the higher security, I said before, because it's living in your cloud project. You get all the benefits of a cloud project. You can choose your data residency in EU, US, or global. You will reuse your existing corporate credentials for sharing these notebooks as well, and it's IAM based. If you're familiar with that, it also supports Microsoft Office files. We saw earlier as well. You can search through Microsoft SharePoint and stuff like that. So you can also directly import those into Notebook LM, and you have way higher resource limits as opposed to Notebook LM Plus. All right, so that as a background, we can go to an actual demo of me doing that in a AgentSpace setup within Xebia.
Okay, interesting.
Let's see what that looks like. All right. So this is what it looks like as it stands currently. Also, if we roll out a POC within for a customer. So this is really what's currently available. Other than, of course, the demo we saw before, that's way ahead of what's currently available to do. But we do see some similarities, right? The main feature here is the search bar, and you can select your sources. And on the sources, for example, here on the right side, I see loads of different ones I added here, right? Jira, email, Notebook LM, OneDrive, SharePoint, Slack, so loads of different things. Also search for Google search, and underneath you see some recently accessed files, and you can also, as the company, you can add some announcements underneath as well if you want. So these link to some URLs or web pages, maybe in your intranet, something like that. Right. So I have one thing I wanted to try. I have my performance review coming up, and I need to tell what what I did to see, and I also want to tell my manager, of course, what I did, and have the discussion there. So I made this prompt here for my performance review, summarize the work I did for AgentSpace in this case, and send that to my direct manager. You can see one of the interesting things here is I'm noticing my direct manager. I'm not saying who it is, so it's making use of the actual the knowledge graph at the back end. The work I did for AgentSpace, it's gonna interpret that in probably some files it's gonna send I have created.
Interesting. Very curious what.
So this is an actual. I did not cache it or something, so we'll see what it does. So it tries to answer right, and this is first like a bit of reasoning, and you see it goes on, and then it went very quickly. But it also searched for who is my manager and who is that manager's email as well, because not only manager, it has an email accompanied with it, right? Yeah. So it noticed, okay, hey, Reinhold is my manager. It fetched the email from the Enter ID, and it put the summary within the content. I can still edit it, but if I'm if I'm happy with it, I can directly authorize it and send it.
And if you ask a follow-up question, you can also make it edit the mail again. You don't.
Yeah,
have
so
to
you can also just ask it to edit the email.
Please
further on.
add the webinar of today, for example.
Or for example, I can ask it, well, yeah, it's fine that I have an email now, but I actually also want to meet up with him tomorrow at 10.
Oh.
Right? So create a calendar invite and put the same info in the description. So now it created the meeting. It put both of our emails in the people's the starting time. It's the same time zone as here, and it put the same information there. And I can directly send out the calendar invite from here as well. And you can see that the source information from this on the right side, the search results. Those are some of the Slack messages I sent back and forth in different channels. It's mainly focused on that right now as a data source.
Whoa. Okay, that would save you a lot of work.
Well, yeah, I will just send that and no longer go to the meeting, maybe. No. So another interesting capability that this has is it actually has code execution. So, for example, if any one of you knows, this is iris.csv. It's a comma separated file. It has it's a basic data set for data science, used a lot. And what the idea of it is, you have a couple different species of plants, and based on the petal dimensions, you can predict what species it is. Right? So you can see, oh, this petal is like wider than long, so it's probably this species of plant versus another one. But I can ask it, I don't want to do that, just create me a k-means clustering for it. Ooh, and this is the benefit of a live demo, right?
Yeah, but it also shows that I saw a question about restricting certain access to data from Michael.
Yeah.
Apparently you're restricted for using this data, so
apparently I am.
not trying to get this done within the upcoming minutes, so you're not able to exit this.
But you did see me adding new data as well, right? You don't only have to search for data using the system that is connected. You can also just add some files and upload them directly. Let me try it one more time, see if it works. But I might have been banned from this.
Yeah.
Maybe I gave this
too much.
Tried this too much.
Too much traffic on discussion. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. All right. Then there's this deep research agent, of course. So that's under agents. There's a couple agents enabled. So one enabled by Google out of the box is the deep research one. That's the only one as it currently stands. You can also have a similar one if you have Gemini via workspace. But yeah, you can, for example, if I'm a junior developer, I get a question where, hey, can you set up some SLIs for compute engine? And I'm not entirely sure, what is an SLI or how should I do that for GCP?
Would be questions engine. I would still have to ask, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you don't know, but it will make a research plan. It tries to answer these questions and even come up with new questions on the go as well. And at the end, you get like a big summary of that and an executive summary and also an audio overview.
And
what's interesting as well is in the meantime, you see, I'm sorry, I do not have enough information to answer this question. That's because it does search based on your company enterprise data as well as public information. So right now I have public information on, right? So first it tried to search internally, didn't find anything, but it did find some sources externally.
And the reason it's in Dutch for you is because you have the interface in Dutch. Although you're asking English questions, it's communicating with you in Dutch.
Yes.
And so generating an English response. Okay.
Indeed. So it detects the language of my system here, and the interface will be shown to me in Dutch, depending on your system information. So you see it going through and even more coming continuously. This will run for quite some minutes. So this is a previously run one. It had came up in the end with 20 questions, and each one of them has different information in it, quite long. And then you get a definitive report, which is quite a nice overview actually. At the end of the definitive report, you also get all the links, of course, in the references. At the end, you get an executive summary. If you just want to read, what's described here, and an audio overview.
Okay, so imagine you're running a pizza delivery service. You've got a bunch of drivers your compute engines on Google Cloud Platform, or GCP, and you need to make sure they're delivering pizzas your applications quickly and reliably. That's where...
All right, right. So it's a quite nice voice actually to listen to as well. It's pretty natural.
I will have to ask to scroll a bit less fast because I understand that maybe people are seeing a bit blurry screens because the font is trying to keep up. So I understand all the information coming up, but I try to do it a bit slower, then it should be less blurry, Jeroen.
Yes. All right. So another thing I want to try here is, I've created a low-code agent actually using Agent Builder. And in that agent, I have added an API spec. So if you're a bit more technical, you know what that is. Basically describes an API. You give it the description for every endpoint. And that's running on a cloud function, that API. And that API is very simple. It's a ticketing API. It has two things. I can either request the status of a ticket or I can send a new ticket in, and it will always send me the same response back as it currently stands. But the idea is, of course, it should be your API actually connected to your database.
Okay.
Right? So I see it's working right now because I ask it, hey, what is the status of my ticket ID? And this answer comes directly from that API because I know I sent this in the code, right? The user has a bug when accessing the workspace. So that came out of a cloud function running on a different project even as well. So you manage those permissions as well via service accounts. So this is an example of letting it access also an API that you have running in your organization or somewhere else. Then another big part, as I said, was Notebook LM. And these notebooks are living inside your cloud project. They're always separate from Notebook LM you've used somewhere else using your account. So if you're using it via Workspace, that's living in Workspace. But this Notebook LM is enterprise version that lives inside your cloud project. So it's a higher level of security there.
Okay.
So you cannot combine the both of them. But yeah, as you can see here, you can create a new notebook, and what it looks like is something like this. So we have 3 different columns. One of them on the left is sources. One of them in the middle is a chat, so that's a chat interface. And on the right side, you have the studio. In this case, for my demo, I have added 4 different sources. 2 of them are presentations. So these are slides I did. So also presentations on AgentSpace. And these are living in my Google Drive, actually. I just added them from there. You can see some slides here. Example. One of them is a PowerPoint version. If I click on that, I only get the summarized overview. So it doesn't show me it graphically, but it does have it in the backend. And one of them actually is an audio recording of me rambling on for 40 minutes about AgentSpace in one of these presentations. So those are the sources I can add. You can add all kinds of sources, as I said earlier. And in the middle, you immediately get a summarization of all of these sources, what it is. You can ask it questions. One of the questions I asked it when I first used this is, now give me some additions I should make to the presentation I gave. And it will use this audio as well as maybe increase the size a little bit. It will use the audio, it will use the slides, it will use them all to say, okay, you need to add some things. It's taking a little bit longer now. You were very complete, so there are no 3 additions anymore. No, maybe I already added them, indeed. So yeah, I didn't add my presentation I did after this tryout, because there I changed these things. Right, so clarifying data access control was one of the questions I got in the audio sample you see on the left side. So I added a slide, as you saw earlier, about ACLs, right? Access control on your data. So that's one of the things I use this for. You can see you can iterate on your content in this way. Then another big feature you have is a couple different things. You can, for example, create a mind map. So based on your data, you get a mind map. You can see what type of data is in there, right? So say, for example, it's not just a couple of presentations, but you have documents with hundreds of pages and presentations with hundreds of different slides. Well, I don't know where to start to read. I don't want to read it all. So maybe you want to first like get an overview on what are the topics, and then you can click to some of these. What is Notebook LM Enterprise? Oh, there's 4 different things you can do: upload, chat, create. There's enterprise features in it. What are these? Oh, right, okay, right. So you get more of an overview, and if you click on one of them, it will also send it directly to the chat in the middle, and you will get a bigger explanation of one of these topics. So that's of course nice. You can also directly add new notes here. So just like your Google Doc, you can start taking notes. And once you're done with those notes, you can format them, and you can directly also turn them into a source in the same notebook. So iterate on your content. Can be very nice here.
Definitely, yes.
And we have another big feature here is the podcasting based on your documents. So as standard, you will create a podcast of 2 hosts that will be talking about the content that you added. So if your content is maybe very big and dry and you don't want to necessarily read it, you can also just generate a podcast.
Or in the car, for example.
In the car, listen to it while you're driving to work. And I can show you an example here.
You know that feeling at work, right? Where you know the info you need is somewhere, but it feels like it's hiding across like 6 different places.
Oh, definitely. It's like a digital scavenger hunt sometimes.
Turns out it's not just us. Apparently something like 89% of employees are regularly digging through up to 6 sources just to find stuff for their job.
It's taking over my presentation.
Yeah, next time we don't even have to be here. We can just send the actual podcast by mail, and you all can listen to it in your own time. But still appreciate you being here.
But then a next level feature of this as well is we have interactive mode. We can see it in beta here.
Yeah.
But what that means is you can actually join the podcast as a third person, right? So if I start it, it will share the same things, but I can actually join it. I will show that in a minute. Let's first let it.
You know that feeling at work, right? Where you know the info you need is somewhere, but it feels like it's hiding across
so the start is the same,
6
right?
different places.
Oh, definitely. It's like a digital
I
scavenger
may have a
hunt
question,
sometimes.
so I say,
Turns out it's not just us.
join.
Whoa, did someone just break the 4th wall? Let's hear it.
Hey, yeah. Before we start, actually, I was wondering, what's the security like on AgentSpace?
That's a really important question. Security is definitely a key consideration for something like this in a business setting.
Absolutely. They actually touched on that in the material we were looking at. It's built on their cloud infrastructure, so enterprise level security is foundational.
Right. They emphasize things like data governance and strict privacy controls are built right in.
And compliance certifications are in place, along with options for where your data lives and support for different languages. It's designed to handle.
So those are some of the stuff I've told you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
You can imagine just having your big dry documents, uploading them here, and just having a conversation about this. In the meantime, while you're driving as well, right? You're not.
Yeah, I'm wondering where this button will be when I'm driving. That I'm not just.
Maybe it can be on the steering wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So this is all part of AgentSpace, as you explained. Notebook LM is one of the first tiers within it. Maybe if we head back to the slides, I had to make some last-minute adjustments to the slides. We had a bit more to present, but we'll try to keep it a bit shorter, a bit over time. So thank you all for still staying here with us. I will try to keep it in another 5 minutes, and I will wrap up. Because we want to tell you, AgentSpace is a big bet within Google. There's a lot of push behind it. Marjam was also here to joining us, telling you about it. There's a lot of people there to help us. And we would like to help you. So what are we looking at? We first have to discuss, okay, we're starting a POC because you're not going to start this just by buying it straight off the bat. You need some a proof of concept within it. So first you need to get whitelisted. This is a process within Google. It's in GA, but not everybody is just allowed to join AgentSpace. So we help you with that. After that, we have to make a SOW, which will lead to the POC eventually. And with that comes a lot of funding. So getting started with the first steps within AgentSpace is often fully funded by Google. There are some asterisks I have to make, but please let me know after the webinar if you're interested. then we will discuss these asterisks and if it's completely free or what funding is available for you. And after we have the POC, of course, the goal should be that we actually start working with AgentSpace, and we will help you with that as well. Then we're mainly looking at the standard connectors. Of course, we, as Xebia, an IT company, would love to help you with these custom connectors, but we're now talking about the standard ones. I had a few questions in the presentation beneath this, but main questions you will have to ask yourself is, okay, where are we going to start? Which team within our organization should have the most benefit from AgentSpace? Is this sales? Is this customer support? Depending on what kind of organization you are, these questions we have to ask them first, because we have to create a specific group. If we're trying to roll out AgentSpace and across the entire organization at once, our opinion about it's probably not going to work. There are too many questions. The talk will go on too long. Second, which connectors are we going to use? There are a list, Timothy already told you, there are 20 now, will be hundreds later on, but we have to start with, I would say, 2-3 connectors to make sure that we don't get wrapped up in way too many technical stuff and get using it as soon as possible, so we know what the benefit is at a good enough point. How would such a POC look like? If we get started, then we have about a 5-week trajectory before everything is up and running. So that has mainly to do with what I already told. We have some trainings, because using AgentSpace should be easy, but having an understanding of how to ask questions, what to ask, what are you able to ask, what are you not able yet, or to make sure that not everybody gets frustrated in the first weeks, we would gladly help you get along. And again, Google is funding us to help you. So this is also part of this funded POC we are able to offer you. And looking at the slides, yeah, that's basically how I would like to end this webinar for now. There's so much more to tell you, and I would assume that if we do it next week, there's another layer we can discuss about AgentSpace. So please, as Marjam also said from her side, reach out to us, make sure that we know that you're interested. We will get to your specific goals within your organization to try to find the way how to start using AgentSpace and get going within this agentic era.